My name's Rob, and today we'll be going over the KRFC Live at Lunch technician training, sound technician training, and today we'll have a very short intro on the Logitech soundboard control console, and that's what we use to play MP3s and WAV files from our computer, how we take control of this from another studio to this studio and begin the broadcast of our Live at Lunch program. And then how we end that broadcast and turn control back over to the next studio. All right, so here is the Logitech sound console, and there are really only a couple of items that are really of any interest to the Live at Lunch program here. This console will do a variety of other things, but the key functions that we want to do are, if you can see this on the screen, it says green mix, and the next one over here says green computer. Being the green studio, this controls the computer that's in the green studio, and this controls the green mix, or the output that's being broadcast out on the airwaves. So these right now are not enabled, so you have to arm them or enable them. And prior to going live, you're going to want that right about there, right about at the zero position. The computer is a little bit overdriven, so we tend to put that down just a little bit shy of where that unity is there, the little slot there. Okay, a couple of other things. Okay, as you can see here, here's a close-up view of the LCD showing the green mix and the green computer of these, just these right two channels that we're going to control. About the only thing you need to really be worried about here is make sure the trims here are at 0 dB, otherwise they can be a little bit louder or softer than what you might anticipate. A couple of other key buttons here that aren't lit up now, but perhaps I'll show you those when we go live here at the noon hour. This top button is give control. The next one is on air. And the way that's going to happen is that when the previous studio, just about 20 seconds until noon, will give control on their end, and this on-air light will start to flash. And then when that flashes, you have 20 seconds to push it, and if not, everything times out and the other studio has to redo it. But what you'll do is when it's flashing, when the song fades out, I'll show you how to monitor the previous studio. When the other studio fades out, the last song, and it's the appropriate time, here's the time now, but right at 12 o'clock you'll push on air, you'll be live, and you'll be transmitting and broadcasting across the radio. Then when you're ready, so that'll then be a solid light when you have control and when you're broadcasting. At the end of the hour, when you fade out and want to turn control over to the next studio, you will push give control, and this will start to flash, as well as this will be on steady because you're currently broadcasting, but this will start to flash. And then when the next studio takes control, then you'll see both of these lights go out. It'll mean you're no longer on the air and control is over to the next studio. If you ever see the on-air light on, which means you're transmitting, and the give control stops flashing, it means the next studio forgot or didn't manage to get their button pushed quick enough. So what you do then is push the give control again, give them another chance to grab it within 20 seconds. Okay, a couple other buttons here you may be concerned about. One thing you should do when you first come in is, and you set up this board, is check the volume on the headphone, which is this second knob up. It says headphone. And this controls the volume level on the host headset and a headset that we have for monitoring that here right underneath the console. And the way you do that is you press change, this CNG, and then you'll see it's on the green program right now. Look forward right at this point. You'll see, oops. Okay, right at this point, you're going to see this middle one, the fine print here in the middle here, it says headphones. So it says green program. You're going to want to make sure that setting is right about 60% through that slider scale. The way you change that is back with the blue button, the headphone blue button, and you can see that slides back and forth. We want that to be right around there, around 60%, and then you're going to want to take, which is this. That means that took the input. It's now locked into the Logitech console. That's pretty much it. There's one other one here on the monitor button, which is the bottom one. This is how you monitor different outputs going on throughout the station. So now you can see there are different options here. It's on the green program right now, which means it's monitoring the green studios, which there's nothing going on now. Later you can monitor what's going on out in the green studio over the local monitors above our head here. But if we wanted to monitor the transmit feed, which is what we do a couple of minutes before we go live, just so we can hear the end of the previous studio transmission, we select XMIT feed or transmit feed. That's what's actually going on now, live on the air. Now, you won't hear anything because we need to say take.
It'll appeal to anybody out there.
Okay, and then we adjust the monitor level appropriately.
Giving us a call, 221-5075, KRFCFM.org. So, moving right along, I'm going to bring back the drifters, and this was...
Okay, as you can see there, we can control the volume of the monitors in the overhead up above here right now with that monitor knob. So that's the way you're going to adjust that signal. You can see the strength of the broadcast signal, and that's pretty much ideal. You're going to want the overall average to be, these are the VU meters or the LED meters, and they should be around the midpoint, a little bit higher. The reds are more of a time averaged peak, and those you never want to peg up to the top, because what will happen then is that you will be overdriving the output compressor, and you'll see a sign on the back of the studio right now. You see green silence. But that sign will blink green overload if you're driving the signal too hot. So if you get a green overload, there are several things you can do. Probably the primary thing will be to cut this signal down, because that's the master fader that will control the output from the studio. That's one way to do it. The other way will be on the Mackie soundboard. You can turn down some of the signals or the main mix, or several other ways there. But in an emergency, if you're green overload, I would recommend just turning that down a bit till you get these peak levels back off from the top. Okay, you do want to louden up to where the radio listeners can hear it, but not overdriven. Okay, so to play a sound file on the computer, you are primarily going to use this slider here and this control there, which, as you remember, that says green computer, meaning the green studio computer. We first will select a file on the computer to play. So I've already pre-selected one of the intro files. When I start playing this, it's Winamp, so you can either hit the play button or you can simply hit X on the keyboard and it'll start playing. You see, you hear no sound now. So what we have to do, oops, let me turn the monitor back to green program, take, okay. So still nothing's coming across the green studio monitors. You need to enable that green computer mixer and slide the fader up. So now you hear the intro. All right, but what you want to do is have these up prior to playing the file on Winamp. Otherwise, you're going to cut off some of the beginning. So you have this ready to go. Then you start playing the intro to the music or the outro. All right. Then if you want to cut that input off to make sure nothing else comes up from the computer and gets broadcast, just turn those off. Either turn that off like that or bring the fader down. That's 99% of what you need to know. There are a whole lot of other functions on this console, but for Live at Lunch, that's basically all that you need to know.